Greetings to one and all present here. I am Dr. Mona Gupta. I carry with me an experience of 2 decades in the field of school education. I lastly headed School of Education, Lingyas Vidyapeeth, deemed to be university. I feel privileged to be a part of this international management conference organized by Center of Management Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia. I would like to thank all the coordinators for organizing this conference successfully during these troubled times of Corona. My paper is based on the aspect of learning model during this deadly and infectious virus, which is called COVID-19. Dr. Tedros, Director General of WHO, declared coronavirus outbreak as public health emergency of international concern, which is WHO's highest level of alarm, on 30th January 2020. He declared COVID-19 as a pandemic in his opening remarks at media briefing on 11th March 2020. Seeing the situation, advisory on social distancing on 16th March 2020 was issued by Ministry of Health, Family Welfare, Government of India, which led to the closure of all educational establishments, schools and universities to curb the spread, morbidity and mortality due to this disease. The data given by UNESCO 2020 shows that as a result of closure of education institutions, 320 million learners were affected in India, out of which 34 million belong to tertiary level as on October 10, 2020. Economic outlook for Southeast Asia, China, and India 21 shows the use of e-commerce, digital health tools, and online education all accelerated sharply during the pandemic in emerging Asia. Rationale of my study is the COVID-19 crisis led to the closing of schools and educational institutions around the world. This sparked increased use of digital online learning tools to allow continuity of education while children and educators were confined to their homes. Digital online learning, which is often known as distance learning, can be categorized as asynchronous and synchronous. A new facet, hybrid learning, was added to online learning, which is a mix of classroom, self-directed, synchronous and asynchronous approaches to optimize learning. During this tough time, the concern is not only about whether online teaching learning methods can provide quality education. It is also how academic institutions and instructors will be able to adopt online learning in such a massive manner. The keywords used in my paper are pandemic, COVID-19, hybrid learning teaching. The definition of pandemic has been taken by Merriam-Webster Dictionary, which says pandemic is an outbreak of a disease that occurs over a wide geographic area, such as multiple countries or continents, and typically affects a significant proportion of the population. Some opinions and research reviews were related from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare 2020, OECD 2020, WHO Timeline 2020. Objectives of my study are to find the various challenges faced by teachers during hybrid learning and to find out the opportunities perceived by teachers during hybrid learning and to study the opinion of teachers regarding educational decisions during pandemic. An online survey was conducted to collect the information. A structural questionnaire link was sent to the teachers through WhatsApp and email. 126 teachers of private and government schools of Faridabad constituted the sample. A descriptive statistics analysis was carried out to understand the perspective of teachers. Simple percentage distribution was estimated. This slide shows the profile of sample group. Majority of them were female, 87% of them. 67% teachers possessed a work experience of more than 9 years. This slide displays the knowledge of teachers about this current public health emergency. 62% of the teachers came to know about COVID-19 in January 2020. More than half of the teachers got this information about COVID-19 through social media. This slide shows about the learning status and academic spheres. Various questions were asked from the teachers related to the facilities available at home. 64% agreed that they had quiet workplace. 71% diverged that they were using computers since last 5 years. The slide shows platforms for providing instruction. 51% of the teachers were using institutional websites and resources. 78% teachers were using YouTube Live. This slide shows self-learning sources. 56 teachers, that is 47% of the teachers were using institutional website for gaining knowledge. Only 12% participants of the study were using SWAM, Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. SWAM is a program initiated by Government of India and designed to achieve the 3 cardinal principles of education policy, which is access, equity, and quality. 23% of the teachers were using Diksha. It's a national teachers platform for school education. It stands for Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing. Diksha is a digital platform developed by NCRT and MHRD. The main objective of Diksha platform is that all teachers across the country will be equipped with advanced digital technology, and Diksha will serve as a national digital infrastructure for all those teachers. Advisory on social distancing on 16th March 2020 from Ministry of Health Family Welfare led to closure of all education establishments to decrease the spread, morbidity, and mortality. Keeping all these factors in mind, government took the decision to open the academia in a phased manner. This slide shows the opinion of teachers towards academic decision of ministry. 50 teachers, that is 40%, disagreed with the decision of government of opening the academia from February 21. 38% of the teachers agreed with the decision taken by government regarding opening of academia and gave positive response on the recommendations. Majority of the teachers, that is 77%, reported positive feedback about SOP, which is Standard Operative Procedure for opening of the schools issued by ministry. During this difficult and troubled time, participants reported about the various challenges posed by hybrid learning. To name a few are socio-economic factors, heavy workload, digital competency, human and pet intrusion, assessment and supervision, compatibility, and digital divide. 70% of the teachers reported that they have separate notebook. Compatibility and digital divide was major challenge. 65% of teachers accepted that their organization reached out to cushion the effect of lockdown and came forward to help them. This slide shows 65% of the teachers do not recommend online classes instead of offline classes. 70% of the teachers reported that they have to consult with their seniors for online equipment handling. 70% of the sample teachers reported that they have always consulted their seniors in online equipment handling. 80% of the teachers reported that it will take a lot of time to develop online teaching etiquettes. 86% of the study participants reported that assessment is not foolproof. Now, every coin has 2 faces. Strelkowski, 2020, mentioned that creative destruction caused by crisis produced during COVID-19 has changed the branding of online learning from disruptive process to savior status, as innovations in academia and higher education that would have normally taken many years were introduced promptly in limited number of days. In a similar manner, opportunities posed by hybrid learning can be considered as a bane during this pandemic 2020. This slide shows 48% of the respondents have agreed that they have liked hybrid model of learning, whereas 43% have given their response in neutral. 64% reported autonomy and flexibility. 51% showed that it enhanced their professional knowledge as they had a lot of time to attend webinars and workshops. 67% of teachers felt that hybrid learning is a blessing in disguise. To conclude, although flexibility, autonomy, increased digital skills of teachers, and increased outreach to students are blessings of this model, but teachers have faced various challenges while working from home. Students' interaction issue, internet connectivity, electricity issue, noise distraction, human and pets intrusion are few of the problems faced by teachers while working from home. The global acceptance of hybrid learning will definitely lead to situation where students and teachers will get used to application of technological equipments. And this will go beyond school into the place of work. Human and pets intrusion can also be eradicated by setting up of separate online libraries and studios. Despite sudden transition of instructional delivery, challenges posed by this pandemic are well explored and converted into opportunities. Some of the implications and recommendations are: government should focus on strategies of education continuity plan. Partnerships with national educational media and national telecom should be done to provide free data for education. Targeted policies for development of tracing methods and use of education to promote better hygiene. Guidelines should be developed to set standards on how to best support teachers. Proper in-service teacher training for strengthening of open educational resources repository. Distribution of free electronic devices and internet to vulnerable. Facilitating teachers' access to online devices. The references are shown in the slide. Thank you. In case you have any questions, kindly post your questions at the email given here. Thanks once again.